I am Teacher Yeager, and I am here to tell you a little bit about VIP Kid and what it is, how to get started, and answer a couple questions that people had and reached out to me about. So here we go. Okay, so a lot of people have just even asked me what VIP Kid is. So VIP Kid is an online program where we, teach Chinese kids how to speak English online. It's awesome. It really, really is. It is completely ideal for primary teachers. Not that other teachers can't do it, but to me it is ideal for primary teachers in the aspect of it is literally what we do every day in our classrooms already. So I kind of feel like we have the one up to kind of already know what to do and how to implement certain things. And when I say this, it is because it's literally our phonics and phonemic awareness blocks put into a PowerPoint. So everybody wanted to know what the pay is like. Money, 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 money. That was literally one of the first questions I asked too, so don't feel bad. So you pretty much get paid based off of, number one, how your interview goes. So they give you a base rate, and it could be anywhere between $6 and $10. And then on top of that, there are other incentives as well. So let me backtrack a little bit and tell you what it is like actually when you're teaching. So you have a 25-minute time frame to get through a PowerPoint that is given to you. And in this PowerPoint, it is just different slides that you have to take the kiddos through. And it'll be about a range of different things, anywhere from animals to nouns, verbs, different blends, sentence structures, sight words, kind of along that realm. And what you have to do is each slide has a teacher tip, and if you click on the tip, it will tell you exactly what you need to do and then what is expected of a student as well. So for instance, it might say teacher reads the word, student repeats 2 times. That simple. So as you're going through these slides, there's 2 different kinds of things. There's main courses, which in a main course, you will typically have 26 to 30 slides. And so you figure within a 25-minute time frame, you want to spend at least a minute on a slide, give or take. Of course, if they're struggling with something or you need to pronounce a word more than once, you definitely want to give them that time. But when you are going through your time management, make sure you kind of try to do a minute per slide. The other type is an assessment. And the assessments are typically double that, so they'll range from 46 to 50 slides. And for the assessments, it's very minimal on what you have to do because it's pretty much you just cueing the kid or prompting them to read certain things, draw a line to something, maybe circle something, and you figure they just had maybe 5 or 6 lessons on something, and then now they've gotten to the assessment. So you are kind of just in charge of guiding them through that assessment, if that makes sense. So you have your 25-minute time frame, and then after your 25-minute time frame, the last 5 minutes, the student is not in class with you, but you are asked to give feedback on how the kiddo did. So it is not something you have to do right away after the 25-minute class. This is because if you have put out in your schedule to where you're doing back-to-back classes, you are not going to have time to go through and do your feedback in between on top of getting to your next class on time. So if that does happen to you, I suggest having a notebook close to you to where you kind of jot down notes about how the kid did, maybe things they need to improve on, something that maybe you had to prompt them multiple times on, and maybe just kind of a helpful hint for the next teacher that has them. It's super simple. So going back to your pay and how this links is you have your base rate, but then you also get an extra $1 for leaving your feedback, and then you could get an extra $1 for starting and ending your class on time. Really cool. So one other thing that you want to take note of before you're going into this is 2 things. One is that when you are doing your lessons, you want to use total physical response. VIP Kid calls it TPR, and it's just kind of putting movement with what you're doing. So if you were teaching the verb throw, you would do throw, throw. So it's kind of just putting a movement with the word and putting the action. TPR, the wonderful thing about TPR, just like when we were teaching any ELL student or any student for that matter, is you are putting a movement and action with the word, therefore building a connection for that kid, and which in turn is helping their comprehension of what exactly they're learning. So VIP Kid is super, super big on TPR, so make sure throughout your interview process and throughout any of the lessons that you teach that you try to always use TPR. Another thing is props. And when I say props, this does not mean you have to like go buy a bunch of stuff. It honestly is stuff that you probably already have, especially if you're a primary teacher. So some of the props that I use all the time, I keep everything in arm's range, is one of them is a cookie sheet. So yesterday in my lesson, I taught about Magic E. So these magnetic letters and this cookie sheet came in handy because I was totally able to show them how with the long A, we add the E, and then now it's bake. And I was able to kind of take these letters away and put other letters there. So we were kind of able to try it over and over. So the cookie sheet is a wonderful tool, especially because you will do a lot of word families and different blends and stuff like that. So if you have magnetic letters and if you have a cookie sheet, it's awesome. Another one you want to make sure you have handy is a whiteboard. I would have a plain whiteboard. This one is super long, so you could see it's kind of hard for me to fit into the screen. I would suggest just having the regular size ones that are like a sheet of paper size. Those ones would be able to fit into your screen better. Another thing you must have, your headphones. Now I feel official. So your headphones is what you plug into the computer. It's how you hear the kid. It's how you speak to the kiddo. So you want to make sure that you have your headphones on. And when you are responding, it is very much like you speak into it. Dog. This is kind of tells them that you are listening for what they are going to be telling you. I'll kind of always point to my mouth when I'm saying a word that I want them to repeat, because it just kind of tells them that I want them to say it. And then when I go like this, it kind of tells them that I'm looking for them to give me an answer. My bad. So the props are a big thing. Another good one to have is a boy and a girl. There's two characters that we use a lot in VIP Kid. You can actually print them off on the internet. You could find them. If you have a doll boy and a doll girl, those would be great tools to have, just because we talk a lot about like pronouns and his and her, he and she. And there's games along some of the lessons that like they might want one of the characters. Another good one is a ball. This one I literally got at the Target dollar spot. So how this prop comes in handy is when I am teaching words such as ball, I would say ball, ball. So all the time in VIP Kid, they pretty much always want you to say the word twice and have the kid say it twice. And it's very much a I do, you do. So the same thing would be if we were talking about throw. I would say throw, throw. And you want them to not only say the word, but you want them to do the action as well. So having the props helps build that connection. It helps with that comprehension. So that definitely goes along with making sure you're kind of prepared and looking over your lesson, so that this way you kind of know what kind of props you could pull from around your house. Okay, so the setup in your classroom is super simple, but they do have something that they are looking for. They typically like you to be in a corner of your house or room, wherever you're going to be teaching. So this is how I have this little setup. I have my name. So at the beginning of every class, I start every class with, "Hi, my name is Teacher Yeager. What is your name?" So that's literally how every class starts. I have my name up there so that they could see it. And it's visible, and then I kind of have this other little stuff. I'll kind of sometimes put stuff up here, but it's in back of me, so I kind of just have cute little Superman my son made me. And then on this side, I have always my reward system. The reward system is another important aspect of VIP Kid. And every PowerPoint that VIP gives you has a reward system that's already embedded into it, which is awesome because you don't have to do any work. But the one thing with that is that the kiddos will see the same reward system typically for 3 to 5 different lessons. So the downfall to that is even though it already gives you one and you don't have to do any work, the kiddos aren't going to be bought into the reward system because they probably already did it 4 or 5 times. So if you've ever used token boards, so if you've worked with kids that have behaviors or disabilities and you've used token boards, I would pull some of those out, and they are great reward systems. I've also seen people just kind of use props around the house, maybe superheroes or stuffed animals, and they'll just kind of say, you earned Pokemon. But I kind of like the token board idea because it's a visual. They could see it the whole time that I'm doing my lesson. And pretty much what I'll do is so you figure if you have 26 slides, every couple of slides I'll switch off between my own reward system and then the stars that the student could get in the program itself too. So the stars are useful to the kids because it kind of tells their parents how they did that day. I've never had a kid that's been defiant or didn't follow through with the lesson. I guess other people have, so that's why they embedded the whole star system. So I use my own reward system and I switch back and forth between that and the star system. So maybe one slide I'll give them the star in the program, and then the next slide I would give them my own reward system. So I have one of these which is like a treasure. So I would just say, hey, you earned a treasure! And then I'd put it on the treasure chest. Another really cute one I have that I love to use is my cookie jar. So I would just tell them, Lynn, you did a great job. You earned a cookie. I try to make it fun and just silly. It gets the kids bought into it. They think it's hilarious. They think you're hilarious. And then it'll hopefully make them want to come back. So the reward system is another big thing too. Your setup, have a cute little area. Mine is super simple. I've seen a lot of people that have super extravagant kind of areas. For me, I'm just getting started and I kind of didn't want to invest a lot of time or money into anything that I didn't know how it was going to go, just to be honest. So mine was super simple. This was kind of already how I had my office set up. In my house, I had it in a different area, so I moved it to where it's now in the corner and I actually like it a lot better. So it worked out perfectly. So be set up in a corner and you'll be good to go. Another aspect I want to talk to you about is the scheduling. So once you get into the program, you've gone through your interview process and all that stuff is out of the water, next you'll kind of get to your schedule. And VIP Kid has it set up to where on your dashboard, you go into it and it's like a spreadsheet. And it has half-hour time slots on the slide because it's a 25-minute class. And you're able to open up anything that you want to. Living in Las Vegas has been a bit of a struggle doing VIP Kid, and I only say this because with it being the summer, I really wanted to take advantage of having an entire day open. However, the time in Las Vegas that it is during the day when I would usually be teaching and now I'm off, they're sleeping in Beijing. So I kind of had to backtrack on like when I would want to do it. So in the morning, from 4 to 6 is a really hot time to get classes in Las Vegas in turn of Beijing time. So it's like kind of nighttime for them and it's after school, but for us it's like early rising. So I'm usually a night owl and I've kind of this summer have flipped my schedule to where now I'm getting up early before my kids and I get in half hour, 2 hours of VIP Kid and before I've even started my day and I've already made money, which feels amazing. Another really hot time that I also get classes is around dinner time. So it's like 5:30 to 7. I've also gotten a lot of classes during that time too. So during the school year, what I plan to do is get my butt out of school on time and get home and maybe get in an hour or two of VIP Kid while my kids are doing homework or before I cook dinner or maybe even while dinner's cooking. And then this way I could make a little money on the side. So what your schedule is like is you see this spreadsheet and there's like a little lock key at the top. And what you do is you unlock it and then you can open up any of the time slots that you want to. There's no required amount of hours that you need to put in. It's completely flexible, which is amazing. So I've already gone through and kind of put my schedule out for the next couple weeks. You want to do that if you can. I say that because when I first started with VIP Kid, I was with them for almost 3 weeks and I had gotten zero 0 bookings. And what I realized was because I didn't open up that many schedules. Like I was so afraid and kind of very apprehensive, so I'd only opened up like 1 a day. It's not gonna get you anything. So what I did, after talking to a couple different people and looking at different videos, I opened up my entire schedule. And then I was able to get a lot more. So in the beginning, when you're getting started, make sure you open up as many time slots as you possibly can. And then what you also wanna do is make sure you do it weeks out. This is because the time slots are available for parents to sign up for the classes Mondays at midnight Beijing time. So what that means is they've already picked their ones for that week. They're looking for the following week and the week after. So you want to make sure you're at least 2 weeks out in your schedule. This does not mean though that if something comes up in life that you can't go back into it, unlock it, take that away because you don't want to do it. You are allowed 6 cancellations. 6 cancellations. During the time that you are with VIP Kid. So a cancellation is considered a class that a kid has already signed up for and then you're not going to do it anymore. So you want to make sure you try to not have that many of them. But when you are getting started, you definitely want to open up as many time slots as you can because you want to make sure you get people. And the most important thing is that during these lessons, you, just like anywhere, you want to build a relationship and a rapport with these kids so that this way their parents are requesting to be in your class again. So make sure you establish those relationships, and yeah, you'll be good to go. So we've talked about what VIP Kid is, your scheduling, the paying, important things to keep in mind, and now I'm going to give you some helpful hints that are very, very useful. Here we go. VIP Kid is very clear on what they expect, so do what they expect. Use the TPR, total physical response. Make sure you're putting actions with words, and make sure you use props. It'll help keep your kids engaged, it'll help you get through your lesson, it'll help build those connections. So make sure you use both of those, TPR, props. Okay, so number 2, watch your time. This is honestly something that I have struggled with since I started with VIP Kid, only because I've had one kiddo in particular that I've done more than one class with, and he'll kind of just struggle with saying certain pronunciations. So whenever that happens, I want to make sure he's understanding what I'm wanting him to say, or that he's pronouncing it the right way. So I'll kind of go through multiple times a word or a sentence frame to make sure he got it. So I have gone over a couple of times, and it stinks because I lose out on that $1 incentive for finishing on time, but at the same time he did get the concept. So keep in mind of your time. It does have the little time in a window on the screen so that you could keep cautious to it, but make sure you're looking at it so that you are trying to keep as best as you can within the time frame of the 25 minutes that you're supposed to. Be prepared. When I say be prepared, that means to make sure you're looking at the PowerPoint ahead of time. Definitely don't go into it, especially when you're first starting. Don't go into it not having looked at the PowerPoint. Every single slide, it has a teacher tip. It tells you exactly what's expected of the teacher, what is expected of the student, and even helpful hints as to how to get the slide done in case you're unclear of what it's expecting. If you ever come to a PowerPoint or a slide that you're like, I have no idea what to do, always keep in mind, what do you see? Look at it, and if there's a person throwing, okay, I see a person throwing, throw. So keep in mind all the time the sentence, what do you see? And then I see as their response. It very much will kind of eliminate any of the anxiety that you might feel or the overwhelming feeling that you might have. So make sure you are prepared, be prepared, be prepared. And being prepared, it also means make sure everything that you need is in arm's length or arm's reach, so that this way you can grab whatever you need, whether it is your whiteboard, your reward system, any of the props that you're gonna use. Make sure they're in arm's distance so that this way you could have easy access to them, so that throughout your lesson you're not scrambling all over the place to get things. Open those time slots. You want to make sure you get bookings and you want to get paid. So make sure you open up those time slots right away, and then this way you can ensure that you're getting kiddos in your classroom and you're getting paid. Have fun. I cannot stress this enough. You want to make sure you're smiling, you want to make sure you're engaged and you're having fun, and then this way the kiddo will be having fun. Try to make them laugh. For me, that's kind of something easy to do, but you want to make sure you're having fun. And to keep this in mind, think about if you were in their shoes and they were speaking a language that you didn't know, and how you would feel as a person going into it having no idea what they're saying. So if you were sitting there, dog versus dog, they would not feel as much intimidation, they would be more bought into it, and they wouldn't feel as scared in answering you. So try to keep that in mind when you are going through the process. Stay smiling all the time. Have fun. Okay, so that's VIP Kid. I hope I answered all of your questions. If you have any more, go ahead and drop them below in the comments, and I will be sure to follow up and answer all of your questions. But for now, I hope I answered them all. Be sure to subscribe to my page and my channel, and follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Hero in Heels. Bye!